The future wasn't just coming. It was already here, buzzing in Ilara's pocket, flashing across her smart glasses, and whispering from every digital billboard. What if the future wasn't just something you waited for, but something you could see? Ilara, a content moderator for Chronofeed, a popular social media platform, spent her days sifting through the digital detritus of humanity: viral memes, political rants, cat videos, and the occasional truly disturbing deepfake. Her life was a meticulously curated feed of routine: morning coffee, a quick scroll through trending topics, 8 hours of digital sanitation, and evenings lost in the endless scroll. She was 28, single, and felt more connected to the digital world than the tangible one outside her apartment window, a world increasingly shrouded in a perpetual smoggy twilight. One Tuesday, as she was flagging a particularly egregious conspiracy theory about the government's new Omninet initiative, a notification popped up on her personal feed. It was a photo of her best friend Liam laughing with a caption, "Just signed the lease! New beginnings!" Odd, because Liam had just told her he was still weighing his options for apartments. She shrugged it off as a delayed post, a glitch in the algorithm. Later that week, a news alert flashed across her screen. Local coffee shop, The Daily Grind, announces sudden closure. Ilara blinked. She'd been there just that morning and everything seemed normal. But as she scrolled down, she saw a comment from a regular posted hours before the official announcement. "Sad to see the Daily Grind go. Best coffee in the district." A chill snaked up her spine. It was too specific, too prescient. The digital world, usually a reflection of the present, seemed to be hinting at a future that hadn't quite arrived. The initial instances were like static on a faulty connection, fleeting, easily dismissed, but they grew clearer, more frequent. It started with minor things: a friend's cryptic post about a new job before they'd even interviewed, a local restaurant's glowing review appearing days before its grand opening, a weather alert predicting an unseasonal downpour that hadn't yet been forecast by official channels. Ilara's confusion morphed into annoying disbelief. Was she losing her mind? Was the constant digital input finally scrambling her brain? She'd pinch herself, splash cold water on her face, and restart her phone, but the anomalous notifications persisted. One morning, as she scrolled through Chronofeed, a post from her estranged sister Chloe appeared. It was a blurry selfie taken in a hospital waiting room, the caption simply, "Waiting." "Pray for us?" Ilara's heart hammered. Chloe hadn't spoken to her in months. She immediately called Chloe, but the call went straight to voicemail. Panic flared. She checked the time on the post. It was dated for tomorrow. A cold dread settled in her stomach. This wasn't a glitch, it was a premonition. She spent the rest of the day in a haze, her fingers hovering over her phone, desperate for more information, yet terrified of what she might see. The next morning, her phone buzzed. It was Chloe. "Hey," her sister's voice was raspy. "Mom had a fall last night. We're at the hospital. She's okay, just a fractured wrist." Ilara felt a wave of relief, quickly followed by a dizzying surge of terror. It was real. She could see the future. The mystery deepened with each new glimpse. How was this happening? Was it unique to Chronofeed, or was her phone merely a conduit? The posts weren't always direct. Sometimes they were vague, almost poetic, requiring interpretation. A photo of a broken teacup with the caption "Shattered Expectations" might precede a major disappointment for a friend. A meme about a sudden windfall could foreshadow an unexpected bonus at work. Her emotional reaction swung wildly between exhilaration and profound anxiety. The world, once predictable, was now a kaleidoscope of possibilities, and she was seeing fragments of its unwritten chapters. The weight of this secret, this impossible gift, began to press down on her. The initial shock gave way to a cautious, almost scientific curiosity. Ilara began to experiment. She'd focus intently on a specific person or event, scrolling through their feeds, waiting for a ripple in the digital fabric. Her first deliberate prediction was small, almost trivial. Her colleague, Marcus, was complaining about a looming deadline for a major report. Ilara saw a notification from a project management app on her personal feed, dated for 2 days later, showing Marcus's report marked complete. She casually mentioned, "Don't worry, Marcus, I have a feeling you'll finish that report way ahead of schedule." Marcus scoffed, but 2 days later he burst into the office beaming. "Can you believe it? I just had a breakthrough. Finished the whole thing." Ilara felt a thrill, a jolt of power. She tried again, this time with a slightly higher stake. Her favorite local bookstore was struggling. She saw a future post from the owner, thanking the community for their overwhelming support after a surprise fundraiser. Ilara, armed with this knowledge, subtly started a grassroots campaign online, encouraging friends and local influencers to visit the store and post about it. The response was lukewarm at first, but then a viral tweet from a popular book reviewer, seemingly out of nowhere, ignited a surge of interest. The surprise fundraiser materialized and the bookstore was saved. Success. But with success came the creeping shadow of failure and ethical quandaries. She saw a future post from a distant acquaintance, celebrating a lottery win. Ilara debated telling them, but something held her back. Was it right to interfere? What if her intervention changed the outcome, creating a paradox? She remained silent and the post appeared exactly as she'd seen it. Then came the failures. She tried to predict the outcome of a minor stock market fluctuation she'd seen hinted at in a financial news notification, but her amateur attempt at trading resulted in a small loss. The future, she realized, wasn't a static image. It was a fluid stream influenced by countless variables, including her own actions. The biggest question loomed: should she tell Liam? He was her closest confidant, her rock. She imagined his disbelief, his concern. Would he think she was delusional? Or worse, would he see her as a freak? The secret felt like a heavy cloak, insulating her from the world, yet isolating her from the very people she cared about. For now, the thrill of her power and the fear of its implications kept her silent. Ilara's attempts to use her power for good, even subtly, began to attract unwanted attention. Her lucky guesses and uncanny insights at work, though never explicitly attributed to her ability, started raising eyebrows. Her supervisor, a man named Mr. Thorne, known for his cutthroat ambition and obsession with data, started watching her with a peculiar intensity. He'd ask probing questions about her intuition, his eyes too sharp, too knowing. Ilara felt a cold knot of fear in her stomach. Omninet, the omnipresent digital network, was designed to detect anomalies, to flag anything that deviated from predictable patterns. Was she becoming an anomaly? The first direct threat came in a cryptic, anonymous message on an encrypted messaging app. "The future is not yours to see." Stop looking. Ilara's blood ran cold. Someone knew, but who? And how? The message was followed by a series of increasingly disturbing incidents. Her personal data, usually locked down, seemed to be subtly compromised. Her smart home devices would glitch, showing her images of empty rooms when she was home or playing distorted audio. It felt like a digital haunting, a constant reminder that she was being watched. The ethical dilemmas mounted. She saw a future post from a celebrity revealing a devastating personal scandal. Should she warn them? Would it be an act of kindness or a violation of their privacy? She saw a notification about a minor accident involving a stranger. Could she prevent it without revealing her power? The weight of these choices was crushing. She felt a profound emotional struggle, torn between the desire to help and the fear of exposure, of the unknown forces that seemed to be closing in. Her power, once a source of fascination, was now a burden, a target painted on her back. The tension in her life became palpable, a constant hum beneath the surface of her daily routine. Every notification, every social media post now carried a double meaning, a potential glimpse into a future that could either be saved or shattered. The anonymous threats intensified, forcing Ilara to delve deeper into the mystery of her power. She spent sleepless nights researching, poring over obscure digital forums and ancient texts on precognition, desperate for answers. The breakthrough came not from a dusty tome, but from a forgotten corner of the Chronofeed archives. She stumbled upon a series of encrypted posts from a defunct research collective, Project Chronos, dating back decades. Their manifesto spoke of a theoretical chronoresonance, the idea that intense collective human emotion, amplified and digitized through global networks, could create ripples in the fabric of time, making future events momentarily visible. The posts hinted at a catastrophic experiment, a failed attempt to harness this resonance, which resulted in a massive, unexplained data breach that wiped out the collective servers. But before their digital demise, they had theorized about sentinels, individuals with a unique neural architecture, capable of passively receiving these chrono-resonances, much like a radio receiver picking up faint signals. Ilara realized with a jolt that she was one of these sentinels. The dark secret related to social media began to unravel. Project Chronos hadn't just theorized, they had built Chronofeed. The platform, ostensibly designed for social connection, was a vast, unwitting experiment, a global emotional amplifier. Every like, share, comment, and notification wasn't just data. It was a tiny energy pulse, contributing to the chrono resonance. The Omninet initiative, which Mr. Thorne was so invested in, was the next phase, a more robust, pervasive network designed to control and manipulate these resonances, not just observe them. The anonymous threats, she now understood, were from a rogue faction of Chronos, or perhaps even Omninet itself, trying to suppress her, to silence the sentinel who had inadvertently tapped into their grand design. The intrigue deepened when she found a hidden message within one of the archived Chronos posts, a single line of code embedded in a seemingly innocuous image. Look for the echo in the void. It was a clue, a breadcrumb leading to another layer of the mystery. The suspense was almost unbearable. Ilara was no longer just a content moderator. She was a key player in a silent digital war. Caught between a hidden past and a terrifying future, her power both a gift and a curse. The crisis hit like a digital tsunami. A future notification flashed across Ilara's screen, chilling her to the bone. A news alert from tomorrow, reporting a catastrophic system failure at the central Omninet data hub, leading to widespread chaos and a complete communication blackout across the city. The accompanying social media posts were a terrifying mosaic of panic and despair. Power is out everywhere. My family's trapped. The city is dark. The date on the notification was less than 24 hours away. This wasn't a minor inconvenience. It was a disaster. Ilara knew she couldn't ignore this. The weight of her secret, the fear of exposure, suddenly paled in comparison to the looming catastrophe. This was the turning point. She had to act. But how? She couldn't just walk into Omninet headquarters and declare she could see the future. They'd lock her up as a threat. She remembered the cryptic clue, look for the echo in the void. After frantic searching, she found it, an obscure, almost invisible backdoor in Chronofeed's old code, a digital echo left by Project Chronos. It was a failsafe, a way to broadcast a warning, but it required a massive surge of chrono resonance, a focused burst of collective emotion. It was a desperate gamble, but her only chance. Ilara called Liam, her voice trembling but resolute. Liam, I need you to trust me. I know something terrible is going to happen, and I need your help to stop it. She confessed everything, her power, the Chronos Collective, the Omninet plot. To her surprise, Liam didn't dismiss her. His initial shock turned to a fierce, protective resolve. What do we do? He asked, his voice steady. Together they devised a plan. Using the backdoor, Ilara would craft a series of highly emotional, subtly coded messages designed to trigger a specific, widespread emotional response across Chronofeed, a wave of concern, hope, and determination. Liam, leveraging his connections in the tech community, would amplify these messages, ensuring they went viral, creating the necessary chrono resonance. The goal was not to reveal the future, but to create a powerful enough echo to trigger the Chronos failsafe, which she hoped would send an anonymous, untraceable warning to Omninet's engineers, alerting them to the impending system failure without revealing her direct involvement. It was a race against time, a desperate attempt to prevent a disaster that only she could see. The hours leading up to the predicted blackout were a blur of frantic activity. Ilara, guided by Liam, poured her energy into crafting the viral messages. She used images of unity, quotes about resilience, and subtle calls to action, all designed to resonate deeply with Chronofeed's vast user base. Liam worked tirelessly, tapping into his network of online activists and influencers, ensuring the messages spread like wildfire. The chrono-resonance surged, a palpable wave of digital energy. Just as the clock ticked past the predicted time of the blackout, a single, anonymous notification popped up on Alara's personal feed. Warning received. Anomaly detected. System integrity restored. A wave of exhaustion, mixed with profound relief, washed over her. The city remained lit. The communication networks hummed. They had done it. The immediate threat was averted, but the battle wasn't over. Mr. Thorne, suspicious of the sudden, unexplained system anomaly and Alara's uncanny intuition, escalated his surveillance. He attempted to frame her for a data breach, but Alara, now more confident in her abilities, saw his moves before he made them. Using her power, she subtly manipulated Chronofeed's algorithms, exposing Thorne's own illicit data mining activities to internal auditors. He was swiftly removed from his position, his ambition finally consuming him. Alara learned to live with her power, not as a burden but as a responsibility. She stopped trying to control every minor event, focusing instead on larger threats, on using her glimpses of the future to guide, not dictate. She became a silent guardian, a digital oracle, occasionally sending anonymous tips to investigative journalists or nonprofit organizations, always careful to remain untraceable. Her relationship with Liam deepened, built on a foundation of shared secret and unwavering trust. He became her confidant, her anchor in a world that was now both more wondrous and more dangerous. She found a new balance. Her daily life, once mundane, was now imbued with purpose. She continued her work as a content moderator, but now with a deeper understanding of the digital currents she navigated. She learned to filter the noise, to discern the truly important echoes from the endless chatter. The mystery of her power was fully resolved. The exact mechanism of chrono-resonance remained elusive, but she had accepted it as part of who she was. Alara's journey from a passive observer of digital life to an active participant in shaping the future had transformed her. She was no longer just a woman lost in the endless scroll. She was a sentinel, a quiet guardian of the digital age. Her power, once a source of fear and confusion, had become an intrinsic part of her identity, a profound responsibility she carried with grace and determination. She understood now that the future wasn't fixed, but a tapestry woven from countless choices, and her ability allowed her to see the threads, to nudge them, to prevent unraveling. The dystopian undertones of their world hadn't vanished. Omninet continued its pervasive expansion, and the digital landscape remained a complex, often perilous place. But Alara found hope in the quiet acts of intervention, in the small victories, in the knowledge that she could make a difference. She learned that true power wasn't about control, but about insight, about using knowledge responsibly to empower others. Her emotional journey had been tumultuous, marked by fear, isolation, and ethical dilemmas, but it had ultimately led her to a profound sense of purpose. She continued to work at Chronofeed, her presence a silent, watchful beacon. Sometimes a fleeting image, a cryptic notification would still appear, a whisper from tomorrow. But now, Alara faced these glimpses with a calm resolve, no longer terrified, but empowered. She had found her place in the intricate dance between humanity and technology, a bridge between the present and the unwritten future. Her story was a testament to the idea that even in a world dominated by algorithms and data, the human spirit, with its capacity for empathy, courage, and self-discovery, could still find a way to illuminate the path forward. The future, she realized, was not just something to be seen, but something to be shaped, one mindful scroll at a time.